Hello everyone, this is Solomon of Solomon Demons, and today we're gonna be fixing the frets of my Kramer Pacer. Actually, I just bought this guitar today, and this guitar is a really good deal in terms of price right now. If you go to Guitar Center, these guitars are around $200, but all of them have either fret sprout or the frets didn't wear file at all when these guitars came out of the factory when they were built, because like I said, I tried a couple in person and I tried, I guess, 10 or 15 of these ones, and all of them have fret sharp edges. Now in the case of this one, I think that this one, the problem wasn't that bad, but it still had the issue. These frets really can cut your hand and your fingers. Now I'm planning to make a review about this guitar, because on paper the specs that this guitar comes with it are really good, and like I said, especially if you can get it for $200, it's not a big problem if you know how to fix it. Now that's the only problem that the guitar have. Now the frets are level. These frets do not need to be level, but like I said, the edges of the frets are the issue. Now I'm gonna be filing all the edges of the frets of this guitar, and at the same time we're gonna be talking about the history of Kramer guitars.
So, the story of Kramer goes back all the way to the 1970s. Kramer used to have a business deal with Travis Beam, being a famous luthier that became synonymous with the unconventional aluminum neckhead guitars that he used to build. According to Kramer, the business deal with Travis Beam began to soar when he applied for a patent in his own name. So in 1976, Kramer left the company of Travis Beam and founded his own company along with a friend of Beam's from New York, Dennis Berardai. The initial Kramer prototypes were built by a man named Philip J. Petillo, who was also in charge for the Travis Beam prototypes. Between 1976 and 1981, the guitars built under the Kramer banner had some strong resemblance to the Travis Beam guitars, most notably because the aluminum necks and the forked headstock design. But Kramer necks feature an important distinction. Instead of being built completely of aluminum, Kramer guitar necks had wooden inserts placed into the aluminum. This was done for two reasons: weight relief and to make the necks feel a bit more akin to a traditional guitar neck. There might have been some tonal implications to this decision as well. But in the late 1981, Kramer guitars ditched the aluminum necks and in favor of more a traditional construction design. Now these new designs from Kramer were very different. These wooden necks feature a fender-shaped headstock, most likely like the Charvels of the era. But after only 1,000 or so instruments that were built in 1981, Kramer received a cease and desist order from Fender to halt the production of the guitars with the headstock shape, which will lead Kramer to switch to a big headstock. This is actually the headstock that we can appreciate on this guitar, on the Pacer that I'm working on. During this era, the production of these guitars' components were moved outside of the United States. The bodies were made in various factories in Eastern Asia, tuners and tremolos were made by Goto in Japan, and the necks were made by the Japanese guitar company ESP Guitars, which started making replacement guitar parts and importing them to the USA around the same time. All parts were shipped to New Jersey, where they were assembled and the guitars were finished. The executive team of Kramer were wise enough to see the trends were brewing within the music industry, which include the Eddie Van Halen-driven desire for guitars with tremolo systems. So in 1982, they partnered with Floyd Rose to put Floyd Rose tremolo systems on their guitars. By 1983, Floyd Rose tremolo-equipped guitars were flying out of the shelves. Kramer was using Scalar to produce tuning pegs, and they arranged for the company to start producing Floyd Rose tremolos as well. Crucially, Kramer was the only guitar company offering Floyd Rose tremolos stock on their production of guitars at the time, giving them a massive EBS sharpened edge when it came to marketing. In the late of 1983, Kramer again switched up their headstock design to some kind of Gibson Explorer like hockey stick design. Around this time, Kramer came out with the new model, the Barretta, which was used in stage by Eddie Van Halen. Kramer guitars continued to evolve to incorporate popular changes in technology, such as introducing Seymour Duncan pickups in 1985 in their guitars and embracing the bright, flashy colors of the glam metal movement in the finishes of the colors of the guitars in the late 80s. Following the Eddie Van Halen leads, a lot of promoting guitarists were seen using Kramers, such as Mick Mars and Vivian Campbell. Kramer understood the trends and the market of the 80s. The wave crashed in the late 1980s. By the time that Guns N' Roses came out, guitar players started pulling up those Gibson Les Pauls again and putting the flashy Super Strats back in the closet. This, with the grunge movement era, became part of the decline of the glorious times of Kramer in the 80s. So, the original Kramer completely effectively came out to an end in January of 1991, mostly due to financial problems, including a lawsuit from Floyd Rose. The company declared bankruptcy and it was sold to Gibson. Gibson Epiphone was in charge of the Kramer brand after the 90s. They have produced guitars and basses under the Kramer brand since the late 1990s, and mostly building their guitars in Asian factories and also producing a few number of guitars here in the USA as custom orders or small orders. But it has been in the most recent years, after 2010, that Epiphone and Gibson have been focusing in the brand again, and they have producing and reissuing a lot of models from the past, like the Barretta, like the Striker, like this one, the Pacer, and they have gaining a lot of reputation with their quality on these imported guitars, especially with the guitars that are made in Indonesia. And another factor is in the prices of the majority of their guitars, under $1,000. This with a really good marketing strategy and a reborn of a shredding community has been putting Kramer on the map again. Time that I'm gonna pass the file, I put the guitar on my legs facing me because this is easier to do this way to don't ruin the finish, like I said, and then I can make it pressure like this. Is the final step, especially for these frets that all of them were expanded, all of them felt terrible, and like I said, this one wasn't even the worst of the guitars that I tried. This one was the best one. This one was the best. This feels totally different now compared with how was feeling when I brought the guitar home. It was almost unplayable. It was really bothering me. I'm really glad I was able to fix it really quick.
So the fretwork feels totally better compared how it with what it was at the beginning. So like I said, I'm gonna make a review of this guitar. Hopefully you guys like the story of Kramer. This was Solomon of Solomonic Demons. Thank you so much for watching this video. Take care and bye.